What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dojo Setting. Trying to get better at these reaction videos, so we're going to do another reaction today. We have a video by Climber Dad, Sam, called How to Set Better Routes All the Time. So, before we jump into it, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely helps the channel grow, helps me know what you like and what you don't like. And yeah, follow me on Instagram as well. So, yeah, how to set better routes all the time. I don't know if you can, right off the bat. I don't know if you can set really good routes all the time. Especially in a commercial environment. Every once in a while, you'll set something that's just not that great. I don't know. That's just kind of my take originally, going off of this. So I don't know what he's going to talk about. So let's dive in and we'll find out.
Right. Do you want to learn how to set amazing routes every single time?
I do.
So there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. But number one, and without a doubt, no matter how you're doing it, you need to have a plan. Sure, you can get lucky.
Yes and, well, hold on. Yes and no. Yes and no. You don't always have to have a plan. It certainly helps a lot. You know, having, you know, it's like, oh man, I was thinking of this last night, or, you know, I had this idea to do this. But sometimes, you know, you can just put something on the wall without really having an idea of what you're doing with it or any intentions with it. It can turn out really well. So
Every once in a while and throw up a great route and just by spraying bolts on the wall. But that's not going to work every single time. In fact, it's not going to work most of the time unless you're crazy lucky for some reason. But
I will say, when you first start out setting, it is definitely helpful to have a plan. You know, having some sort of idea of what you want on the wall. That way you're not wasting time. You're not wasting resources in a sense of, you know, maybe you grab the coolest holds you can find but don't really have an idea of what to do with them. Somebody else might have had a really cool idea with that too. And it's not like they're forever on the wall, you know. It's like, oh man, I don't get to use them this time. I'll use them next time. It's not a big deal. So
even if you are that person, you're going to benefit from first creating a plan.
Before you even start creating your plan, you need to know the holds that you're using and the terrain that you're using to set.
that is actually that's really good advice. I find it always a little tricky going and setting somewhere where you're not used to setting. Also kind of overwhelming if you're setting somewhere new, you're not familiar with the terrain. You have, 1,000 ideas going, and it's like, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And you just got to pick an idea and go. Knowing the holds is also good. If you're trying to set something of a specific grade and you pick the cool holds, the holds that you're really, really, really excited about, if they don't fit the grade, that's not appropriate. You need to pick holds that are going to better the function aspect of your climb. So, yeah, I agree. Know your holds.
Now, right here, I'm actually going in a different way that I normally do. I normally start from the ground and work through my moves, every single move, and make sure that they work really well together. But I want to use this specific hold as eye candy on the wall, and I want it to be just out of reach. So if you're going to get it, you're going to climb up to it. So I started with that, and then I'll work on both sides.
I find with boulders, sort of doing, he's saying start from the ground and go up, but he's doing it differently, sort of starting with the focal point of the route. I very rarely do I actually start at the bottom of my climb. Usually if I have an idea going into the climb, I will actually start with that. first before I put on a start. You can actually notice that one of the videos that I released recently setting V6 on a steep wall had a tow hook and all that stuff, a little release, and it was red holds. That one I kind of started, now I mean I started lower to the ground, but I started with the focal point of the root and then built the root around it. So looks like that's what he's doing here
And
as well.
here are some of the steps that you need to look at while you create your plan to set. Safety. Regardless of whether we are setting in a commercial gym, your home wall, or a competition, there is no reason that we should be increasing the risk of injury.
Agreed. Safety, 100%. 100%. Along those lines, I'm going to be a little nitpicky here. Is he wearing safety glasses? I'm sorry, Sam, if you're wearing safety glasses, I'm sorry, man, but the biggest thing for me is safety, man. I've had metal in my eye from setting. You gotta wear your glasses, man. Safety first. Not just for the climbers, safety for you too. Be safe about what you're doing. But absolutely, you never, going back to a setting thing, you don't want to set anything that's dangerous. So, I agree, 100%.
Simply
Safety.
because of the way that we are setting the problem or route. Know your fall zones.
There's a lot of setters over here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's probably like a dozen people here or so. I think it's kind of cool having the kids here set too. Start them young.
Know the holds that are around you and the risks of injury from hitting those.
Do not climb over things. Make sure your landing zone is clear. I 100% agree with this. Move the ladder. Move all the bolts out of the way. All the screws, holds, drills, anything. Give yourself a clear landing zone. Nobody wants to get hurt while
How
running.
someone is going to fall off if they come off of this tricky hold that you're placing. Keep all of those things in mind and try to minimize the risk.
Along with that lines, thinking about fall zones and everything, my last reaction sort of talked about this as well. Some setters, if we are unsure of a fall zone, it's like, well, you might be able to fall there, but I'm not sure. It's beneficial to take the fall in check. Now, hopefully, more times than not, it ends up being a non-issue. I remember back in 2016, I was setting for the Collegiate National Championships in California. And we were unsure about a move towards the top of one of the women's final routes, or final boulders, I should say. And we're like, well, I don't think you could fall here, but maybe. And one of the setters was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the fall. And he went up. If you're watching this, you know who you are. He went up. He committed to the move, but fell and ended up actually hurting his ankle. He actually, his ankle swelled up, and he legitimately got hurt for running the climb. So, but it's a good thing that you do these things. I would much rather a route setter get hurt than a customer or a competitor. So, I agree. Assess your surroundings and make sure that the falls are safe.
Intrigue. When someone looks at your route, you want them to be inspired to climb it.
I would agree. Another way of saying intrigue would be, what are people saying now? Form. I use the word aesthetics. In my opinion, I think that aesthetics play a pretty big part in setting. If the climb doesn't look good, nobody's going to be inspired to climb it. So it needs to look good. However, I do agree that I don't think you should sacrifice the function of the climb in order to achieve aesthetics. There is a balance that you got to do there. If you make a climb look interesting, people will climb it. If there's a climb on the wall, it could be the best climb on the wall, but if it doesn't look good, it might not get the attention that something that looks better gets. So
You want them to think, ooh, wow, that looks fun. I want to try that. The easiest way to get this accomplished is to focus on the aesthetics of the climb. Make sure that all of your holds match and that they flow in a specific way.
Man, I should have just let him talk. He's saying everything I'm saying too. Yeah, you know, you definitely want to make sure that that you draw your climber in. It can be done in a whole lot of different ways. What he was saying, set with the same set of holds, you know, like holds. Big feature holds are a really quick, easy way to catch people's eyes. You can see right here, this yellow root right in the center of the frame here, that's just a straight line of holds. And you know what? That is intriguing. Usually you don't see those at climbing gyms, so that's going to draw people in. Funny little side note, those are actually some holds that I shaped for Thrive climbing holds like 5 years ago. Those were the loaf pinches. I don't think they're available now. And as I'm looking, this gentleman climbing the purple climb here, I could be wrong, but I believe that those are the Minrocks that I shaped for Solve climbing holds back in 2017. So, thanks, Sam, for supporting my holds.
Here's some easy examples of some holds that flow in an interesting way. Does it make you want to climb it?
There's some more of my holds.
Education.
Actually, a lot of my holds. Dang. Well, appreciate that, Sam. There was a ton of my holds on the wall, so thanks, man. I appreciate that.
As a route
Alright,
setter,
education.
you
Let's see
are
what we got.
creating a... I think that every single route, especially that you set in a commercial setting, needs to be educational.
I'm going to disagree a little bit here. I don't think every route needs to be educational. I do think that every route needs to serve some sort of function or achieve some sort of goal. In my opinion, the easier climbs in the gym, we're talking like V0, 5.5, things like that. I think the function that they serve is to get beginner climbers interested in climbing, to make them want to come back. So not necessarily learning about climbing, definitely experiencing it, but I'm not trying to teach them anything. I'm just trying to show them some success so that they're excited to come back. Now in the higher grades, absolutely, I would say like V3, 4, 5, 6, arguably even 7. That's a great opportunity to teach techniques, different moves, footwork, body positioning. There's a whole lot to be learned there. I think that if you're climbing at a V8 level, you probably have a pretty good grasp at most climbing technique. Now, if you're strictly a V8 roof climber, of course, you're always going to learn stuff if you're climbing on slab. Not to say that you can't learn anything, but more times than not, the elite climbers in your gym, they know. They just need to practice it. So,
What are you trying to teach the people that will be climbing your problem? And lastly, know who you are setting for. If you're setting...
that is huge. Know who you're setting for. That is a huge part of setting. If I come in to guest set at a gym and I don't know who my clientele are, I'm not going to be able to make as good of a product as if I know who I'm setting for. For example, if you set something very, very complex, very tricky to figure out, but the customers that climb at that facility don't like that, they're probably not going to like your route. Now, there's a very fine line between teaching somebody something new and just shutting them down. And it's a line that route setters, in my opinion, kind of have a hard time tiptoeing across, I mean, what is too hard? What is too complicated? Is this just right to teach them this new move, technique, body position, something like that? More times than not, have somebody in mind when I'm setting a climb. Even if it's a general person, a faceless, okay, people who are 5'7", I'm going to keep you in mind. It could be as specific as, hey, I'm a little shout out here, hey, Bruce, I'm setting this for you.
Sitting in a commercial gym, it's going to be a lot harder because the people that you're setting for is very vast. Try to keep them in mind.
Preach. You can't please everybody. You can't make every single person like every single boulder that you're going to set. It's impossible. You're setting for the entire population, and it's really tricky to do. But as long as you offer a good range of boulders, you know, if there are some boulders that are tall person friendly, some boulders that are short person friendly, crimper climbs, pinch climbs, body tension, dynamic, you know, as long as you're giving them a variety, that's what we're looking for. You know?
This is a short list to help you get started in setting great routes and problems. Now,
cool, yeah. So overall, I think this is actually a really good video. I say actually like I was surprised. I'm not surprised. You know, Sam's a good guy. It was a good video. It had a lot of good tips in there for sure. I think I agreed with just about all of it. There's, you know, a couple things that I would kind of modify my definition of, but overall, this is a really good tool to, you know, of things to keep in mind while you're setting. I don't think that this is necessarily I don't think this is necessarily how to set better routes, but I do think that this is a good video on how to exist in a setting team. You know, because a lot of these things that he was talking about are behind the scenes things that probably not a whole lot of climbers think about. At least not consciously think about them. So, overall, I think this is a really good video. I'm sure you guys are, but if you're not subscribed to him, definitely go, you know, subscribe to his channel. He's got a lot of really good videos out there. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll have a lot more coming out soon, more me actually setting videos. You know, I'm just trying to test the waters, you know, see what you guys like and what you don't like. So, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.